players. The bottom right hand side, our blue Zerg player is going to be Dark. And his opponent down to the bottom left is Stats. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sad. Like, Innovations, that's like my two favorite players in the world. And I don't get a caster. I'm like genuinely kind of tilted that I don't get to caster. How sad. Someday, we will not be the second stream for absolutely everything we cast. Someday, we will actually be mainstream. We'll actually be able to cast the games we want. No one will be able to force me into other matches. No one will be able to break me, for we shall be mainstream. We shall. I am determined. Stats Dark. Nexus versus Newkirk, which is a pretty long map to be fair. So, pretty long map here to start, and we'll probably see a double gate follow-up as well. So just setting up into this and see how things are going to go as we see this pro. Just going to scout over to the right-hand side, have a little bit of a look to see what's going to be happening. So, pro going to scout here early on. And we'll be having a little look to see what's up. Lambo, thank you very much for subscribing. Now I feel like a sellout. I'm casting games for subs. Kappa. Let me know. You get a bauble on the Christmas tree. How exciting is that? Let me know what color bauble you want, Lambo. You either get silver, green, or shiny green. There's also glittery silver, but it's really hard to write on. But you can have glittery silver if you want. So, you can check all that out. I was just going to see this probe and drone having a little bit of a dance around. And probe is going to be picking off this, well, is going to be delaying this as he puts the pylon down and puts the pylon block in. Ascorbic Acid with the 18-min free sub as well. Says Silver. He knows what the deal is with the baubles. He knows how it's going to go. Thank you very much, Mark. How you doing? We had a good night the other night, didn't we? We had a real good night the other night. 18 months, that's crazy. It's the same as Mjolki, right? It is. I know it's the same as Mjolki. We're going to be seeing these few lings, and the drone is going to be trying to pick away at this pylon. So this pylon is going to go down, and Dark is going to get access to his third base. Now, it was just one gateway off this Nexus first. As we're going to be seeing this Twilight Council coming down towards the front. So, nice fast Twilight Council here in the early stages to set on up. And we'll see where we go from here. Single Stalker will help to push away the Overlord, of course, which is just hanging around to the right-hand side. He would like to try and deny vision in towards his main, as again we watch to see what exactly will be coming up in the next few moments. So again, that Overlord just sat off to the side. Overlord sat overhead over here as well. I'm just going to see a few Zerglings going over to the left-hand side. So a few Lings running over to the left. We're going to see this Robo coming up, as we mentioned before, and that's just going to allow Stats to really kind of maybe drop a Twilight, drop a Dark Shrine and start going in towards some DT play, that classic Archon drop perhaps. Alternatively, he could just go into some Adept-based pressure. But it is going to be the Dark Shrine. I mean, it's super standard to go for that Dark Shrine when you see the Triad and the Robo together. Very rarely does a Triad and the Robo actually mean something along the lines of like a Resonating Glaives build or something like that. Unless it's going to be like a big 8-gate and you need the Robo up, but then you get the Robo a bit later as far as I'm aware, because you have to wait for the Resonating Glaives to finish anyways. So, all of that is just going to be seeing these this membership course sat out front. We're going to see a few Zerglings up the top side as well, having a little bit of a look around. Dark's been very aggressive though. He's built a very early Roach-Ron, and with that Roach-Ron, he's been spending all of that gas he saved up for early, and he's got a lot of Roaches now marching across the map. So it's a big all-in from Dark here in game number 1, as he goes over to the left-hand side and has a little bit of a look to see if he can break his opponent in the next few moments. So, Stats. I kind of feel as this is one of the best situations for Stats, because he's going to get a Dark Shrine up, right? And a Dark Shrine is just going to help you hold off anything like that. As long as you can buy a little bit of time initially, which you should be able to with overcharges, as long as you can buy that initial time, you're going to get DTs up. And if you've got DTs up, man, like, there isn't going to be anything to help the Zerg player out. All he has to do is keep power to his gateways so he can warp DTs in, and eventually he'll start to clean this up. Force field down to the left. He has one more overcharge available, which he's yet to use. I guess he's going to use it on one of these pylons in the back. There's one DT coming in, and as we mentioned, one DT will just pick away all of these units slowly but surely. Everything will go down, and Stats, he can still lose 20 workers, and be sort of okay in this game. So here we go, this DT swiping away. Corrosive Bars coming in now as well. The overcharge used on this very far back pylon, which actually cleans up a few lings to begin with, gets a shot or two onto these roaches. There's one DT still picking up the kills in the back. 5 workers killed as Dark rushes forwards to get more damage done. It's a sentry going to force field on the high ground though, as this DT still picking away at everything on the low ground. Roaches, Ravagers, and whatever else. He's getting the kills. Probes pulled to the side, and still a worker lead for stats, as Dark is running out of time to get damage done. Lings will stream in after this, but they are much easier to deal with than the roaches, and it should be somewhat manageable. As long as he keeps power to these 2 gateways, I feel he should be pretty much okay. There goes that Ravager now, the DT picking it off. 12 kills in total on this Dark Templar. As you can see, the Dark did good damage, but he definitely hasn't done enough damage. 34 probes to 26 is the final count at the end of all of this, and the stats just builds up an Immortal now. He has the DTs to harass with, and yes, there's going to be Spore Crawlers coming up, but when, you know, you go into the Archons as well, the harassment is going to be great, as we actually see him loading up 2 DTs and Depth and a Stalker to go across the map with. Zerglings will keep on moving around. Now, one advantage of Dark is that he can maybe keep on denying a third base for a bit longer, because he does have quite a lot of Zerglings out here. I'm going to be seeing him actually for a moment or two thought about kind of dropping up into the main, but when he sees this Warp Prism going across, he decides that that is probably not going to be the best idea. So this Warp Prism continue to move in towards the main base now, as a couple of Roaches going to be setting up to try and see what they might be able to pick up from this. We're going to be seeing 3 more Dark Templar getting warped in. And they're going to go in towards the 3rd hatchery. So they're going to move in towards the 3rd hatchery in the next few moments. And again, Ling's just going to back away. As you see, 2 DTs dropping into the main. Again, has to be a little bit careful because there is a Spore Crawler up. So a little bit cautious, but he is going to pick off the Spore on the 3rd base. And the lair isn't ready just yet. And with the number of DTs that are down here, this is going to be a dead 3rd hatchery. DT builds, this sort of build is just so good against this sort of aggression, because again, the DTs can help you hold so nicely compared to other units, because they're just not going to be detection up because there isn't a lair, and the counter damage is always got so much potential as well. These DTs are going to get caught in the end. He picks up a few of them instead of the Stalker and Adept, but I mean, the damage is already very good here from Stats, and he just adds on 4 more gates. Stats is planned right now just to go for 1 large attack to try and end this game in the very near future. As Ling's going to continue running over to the left-hand side. You can see these sentries, Adepts, the Immortal and Archon, and we're just going to be gathering up together and looking to see what they can do. A few Roaches will move forwards here. And Dark can have a little bit of a look to see what's going to be going on. So again, Lings and Roaches just gathering up. He is actually going to find these Archons as they morph in, which is a little bit frustrating. He does manage to save them though, so Stats doesn't lose them. But again, a little bit frustrating to take so much damage on them. I mean, with all of these gateways in play now, we're going to be moving across the map. Stats doesn't have any upgrades behind this. You know, he doesn't have Blink, he doesn't have Resonating Glaives, but he just doesn't need it. You know? He just really doesn't need it. As you're going to be seeing, this Warp Prism is moving around, going to be coming in towards the 3rd hatchery. And going to be starting to attack on in towards this hatch in the next few moments. You're going to see a couple of Archons lifting up, and then just pulling away to the side and dropping down once again. A few more Depths warp in, and Stats coming up towards the northern side here now. Having a little bit of a look to see what he wants to get up to. You're going to see that Overlord getting picked off. And just continue to move in this direction from the northern side. Here we go. The attack coming in from Stats is Dark. And he's going to be dropping game number 1. I mean, how do you hold this attack as Dark at this point? 3 Archons, 2 Immortals. He's got like 7 Roaches and 2 Ravagers or something. It's not enough at all. And that's going to be GG. Stats takes game number 1 of this best of 3. Concerned. But for now it's holding strong. For now it is okay. For now it shall stand. Guys, to the top right-hand side, our Blues Protoss player. Up 1 game in this best of 3 now after defending the aggressive opening from his opponent. There's going to be Stats here in the upper right-hand side. And down to the bottom left, we're going to have our red Zerg player. Let's hear it if it's Dark that you're cheering on. Gonna need a bigger tree. Basically, right now we're gonna get a second tree because at this rate, like I know I'm kind of going on about there's being too many baubles. We can fit a lot more baubles on this one. To be fair, we definitely can. But at this rate, there is no way we get away with only having 1 tree. Like, absolutely no way do we get away with it. Like, we definitely need a second tree at some point, I think. We definitely need a second tree at some point. 100% sure. But anyways, Dark Ones, I know you asked earlier about monthly top donator getting the star. I actually don't know who gets the star. I might just do it. Whoever donates above X amount gets the star. Like whoever donates $100 plus in the month gets to be on the star as well. You all can share the star or something. I don't know. Like I don't know. Like if you've got any good ideas, I can. Because the hard thing is like monthly top donator. That means the star doesn't go up until the end of the month, right? You know, you see my issue there. So I don't know. Maybe we should share the star out between people who donate a lot. Maybe that's the best solution. Maybe that's the best solution. Alrighty then. Game 2 of this PvZ, and I don't think Dark will go quite as aggressive once again. What will be interesting to see is what Stats is going to do. He went for that opening in the last game with the DTs. Will he do something similar to that? We saw actually Zest yesterday doing something very similar to that multiple times. In fact, he used it way more often than you might have expected one man to use one build in the same tournament. It was actually a little bit crazy how much he used that. Sorry, I'm having a battle with my window. It's a little bit warm in this. It's always a little bit warm in this room. I don't even have the lamps on, and it's a little bit warm in this room. Put the lamps on as well. This is such a good thing about having like a headset mic. I can actually walk around and fix stuff without you guys realizing that I'm just walking away. Minus the fact I'm not observing. It is a Twilight Cancel again early, so definitely the possibility for Dark Templar early. But again, there's just very standard builds you can do for this as well. Resonating Glaive's Pressure, and so much more. So we'll see exactly what Stats wanted to do very soon. Third Hatchery is coming down and just going to start building over in this location. So Third Hatch on the way up, and Single Stalker Stats going to pop out and going to start chasing away a couple of these Zerglings. Just a couple of Zerglings getting chased away. And what else is going on? Well, the Robo Facility is on the way up. We're going to be seeing the Warp Gate is coming up as well. It's about halfway done here. So Warp Gate about halfway done, and again a few Lings gathering up together. Neoptest Carapace is going to be finishing very soon. And the Evo Chamber is also finishing shortly as well. Going to be a little bit of a drop from Dark, it would seem. As the Evo Chamber finishes, he plants a few Lings up in this direction. So he just dropped in towards the front. His work count is actually pretty low, 26, 27. I mean, you can definitely see that he's made a few workers here in these early stages, so a few Lings here in the early stages instead of workers. So hopefully we'll pick up a few kills to make this worthwhile. He's going to try and harass at the front to take the attention away from his opponent. There's the Dark Shrine, already scouted, so Dark knows about it. That's obviously a great start for him. Motion, of course, very far to position of the main base, so this drop in the main should get some damage done. Probe going to come in and drop the pylon. Stalker moving into position as well, but just a little bit too late, as the Lings will already be in here and able to kind of pull in, try and get some kills. Actually pulls back momentarily, gets one probe guaranteed. He's going to go for another probe right now. Does he get the kill? Well, there's two. He's looking for more, of course. Gets three. Yeah, that's pretty decent. 3 workers killed. And the good thing is as well, he keeps these Lings alive. So not only does he kill the workers, but the Lings get out of there alive as well. It means that you can get away with doing a little bit less, because you still have those Lings up to utilize at a later point. Dark invests into the Spore Crawlers, which is obviously the first stage of defending against the DTs. Now he just has to make sure he never gets drawn out of position. As we're going to be seeing these Adept just warping in the middle of the wall here as well. You're going to see this Warp Prism going up to the top side. Going to be warping in a few more DTs as well. So a few more DTs coming in. Going to run in towards the third base here and just going to be seeing these units having a little bit of a look to see what else is going on. As we're going to be seeing these Lings taking quite a bit of damage. So many of these Lings are going down very quickly. There's a drone going down as well. And these Queens just helping to push that Warp Prism away. So Warp Prism gets pushed away. And it's going to be seeing a Forges on the way up for our Protoss player. So I'm not going to see kind of a transition out of this, which isn't going to be focused on just straight up killing the opponent, which is what we saw a lot of yesterday actually. Some very aggressive PvZ from both of the Protoss players, both Hero and Zest. We're going for a lot of these kind of DT based Archon drop openings, followed up by 8 gateways, let's kill the guy. So it's pretty intense. We're going to be seeing the two Archons just dropping down to this side, and we're just going to be seeing a little bit of damage being done. One Queen taking a little bit of damage there right away. Going to try and get some drone kills, actually not stacking up the shots, so he doesn't get too much done. Oh my god, that Warp Prism gets super low. Stats is just about able to get it out of there. As Dark has the +1 melee upgrade, that's going to be completing very soon. And we're going to be seeing +1 weapons coming up on this Forge as well, over in the main base. This +1 weapon is going to finish up very shortly. So again, we see these few sentries just pushing that Overlord away down to the south side. These couple of Lings are going to loop around and look to see where they want to go. Blair on the way up from Dark in the main base now as well. And again, that +1 melee as it finishes really shows us he just wants to play this kind of Lingbane focused style with probably a few Ravages being mixed in as the game goes by as well. So Overlord comes away down the right. A few sentries just nibbling away at this overload over here as well, so just nibbling away. You see a bit of a Bane drop getting set to go. Stalker's already coming into position though, or they're just on patrol. They're just set up. If he is going to find this overload, is he going to be paying attention? Stats, I don't think he is paying attention. Okay, he sees at the very end, but already the Banelings dropped down. 7 workers killed with the first 2 Banes. These next 2 Banes will have to drop down shortly. He actually traps the Stalkers in amongst the gateways that are building over there. So he actually gets these next 2 Banes down as well. Probes will pull in to try and help out, but oh my god, that's another 11 workers. Stats sort of reacted, but then sort of not. And you see over here, this Archon drop has been pushed away again. Did he actually send the Archons back home, or did he lose them? He lost them, wow. So Stats very preoccupied, losing his Archons, losing a lot of workers, and Dark has done some mega damage in the super early stages of this best of 3 game number 2. I mean, he needs to, because he is 1 game down in the series. He is the one who's looking to try and keep his dream alive right here. 2 more gates finishing wolfing in here from Stats. You can see the +2 upgrade being chrono boosted out of this forge as well. I'm just going to be seeing the +2 melee coming down. The Baneling speed is also coming up about halfway done. War Prism going to get pushed away by the couple of Queens. So Queen's just going to push that War Prism away. And again, these Zerglings just gathering up together. And again, looking to see what's going to happen next. We're going to see these few Overlords from Dark coming up the top side. And they're going to be looking to scout around in towards the main base here very shortly as well. So that's going to drop down these Archons, and again, little bits and pieces to see what he can get up to. We're going to see the Robo Bay coming down for the Robo facility. That's the 2nd Robo now. I'm going to be starting to see Stats begin his commitment into most likely the Disruptors, but hey, you never know when Colossi are going to make a surprise appearance, so keep eyes open for that as Ling Hydra again collecting on this Watchtower and looking to see what their next goal is. Evolved Groove Spines is the upgrade coming in from Dark, as he just plays Hydras actually. I didn't really think about the potential to play the Hydras with this melee upgrade. It's been a long time since kind of Hydra Bane was a thing, but of course in this new patch, Hydras are pretty good, Banes are pretty good as well for some extra health. Like, you know, that's definitely something you can play. So that's what we're beginning to see is we'll just scouting around, keeping an eye on what's up. It is going to be Colossus out of stats. 1 Colossus is already building, and well, obviously more will be on the way as well. These gateways have been such a pain. Stats multiple times they got caught up on these while trying to chase away Overlord. This one isn't as important because he's still going to get it as well. And oh no, it doesn't. It's not as important because it's not a dropping Overlord with Bane still inside. But I mean, if he'd killed that Overlord before, he'd have had 11 more workers that he wouldn't have lost to those Banelings. So, you know, it was a pretty big deal. A few more Zerglings just gathering up together, and I was going to see +2 melee finishes up again. Dark continue to work on those melee base upgrades to help the kind of the Banes and the damage they can do with their connections, as we see. Again, Hydra's just gathering up on this side. Muscular Opens will finish shortly, giving him the speed boost as well into these Hydras. So he's going to have everything he needs now to really kind of attack on in. He's actually going to roll a few Banes in towards the 3rd base. Membership core is here, but the overcharge is late, and probes stack up. 16 workers go down. It's again a huge connection from the Banelings, and it's just this continuous damage out of our Zerg player, which is just putting our Protoss into a position he just can't fight from. Sees the Colossi, has a hive now started, and I imagine the next stage of this from Dark is if he can't kill him with this army in a concave, it's just going towards the Vipers, and if the Vipers abduct those Colossi forwards, the Archons and whatever else, trade efficiently, and then just run on in with everything when there's only really gateway units left behind. Going to send a few units down to the south side, in towards the 3rd base already. You can see that these Paladins are going to start being overcharged. He will start working his way through these though. Sends the Balins up to the north. He's actually going to catch the probes as they try to run away. There's 10 more workers. Stats down to 45 probes. And Dark just pulls back before he loses anything too substantial. A nice little trade here, as we're going to be seeing. And again, Hydras and Banes just backing away over to the left-hand side. 23 more Banes morphing on in at this point in time. It's again just so many units that Stats has to fight against. I mean, do we dare look at that's not the button I wanted. The army costs. Actually, yeah, it's still favourable to Dark, but Stats a lot more gas in the army, which can definitely go a long way. Let's see, as we're going to see, actually a lot of units moving around the right-hand side, so a little bit out of position for this push continuing forwards. There we go, Stats popping the Guardian Shield. He's got plenty of force fields to use. He needs to use these. As for now, he's not doing anything at all. He's got more probes going down and attacks on the other side of the map, and that has just been distracting him so that this main fight doesn't really go his way at all. Again, Stats is losing so many workers back at home due to this run by coming in on the 3rd base, an attack at the front of the natural. but all the while he was just losing the fight at the 3. Again, Golden Lion 88, thank you for this sub just before. Do let me know. You might have said it already, I might have just missed it. But if you do want a bauble on the Christmas tree, let me know what colour you want. Otherwise, if you're not going to respond before the end of this game, I shall pick a colour for you. Which is not really the end of the world if it's not the colour you want, I guess. But maybe you really care. You might really care. Again, guys, if you do want a bauble on the tree, we're going to give them away to anyone who's supporting the stream this month. So if you sub, if you donate $1 or more, if you cheer $1 or more, if you're a Patreon pledger, even if you buy a WardiTV t-shirt or hoodie and you prove it, we will put you on the tree. That is how it's going to go. Very festive over here. Guys, it's a super early pull out of Dark. Just going for this very early pull to try and apply pressure early, but for the stats, I mean, he sort of just figured this out, and so he's already got 2 gates coming up at the front, and Dark's aggression for the second time this series is already doing absolutely nothing. Yes, Stats has to pull 4 probes off the line just to make sure he's okay, but now there's going to be a second Zealot, and I mean, what does Dark do? He's just down in workers from the get-go. Yeah, there's no expansion from his opponent yet. I mean, the pressure that's going to come in from his Zealots and Adepts are going to force less drones out of Dark, and that's going to make life difficult for him in terms of catching up in the worker count. And this has just not been a great opening at all. It's just Stats figuring it out early, sees what it is, doesn't expand. He just puts himself into a really good position. 2.5 minutes in and already Dark is just in so much trouble here on Whirlwind, this big, large 4-player map. It's not a common one to early pull on, but the idea is you try and catch your opponent going for something like a Nexus first. You know, Stats went for that Nexus first back on Newkirk. If he did it then doing the same sort of thing on a map like Whirlwind is somewhat expected maybe. He just got very unlucky as we have. He's just going to gather up back towards the natural expansion, and these Adepts just begin to shade through towards that lower right hand side as well. So these couple of Adepts coming on over. That Nexus coming up on the natural expansion also here. As we see 3 Adepts and a Zealot going to move forwards. He left one of the Zealots at home just to stay in the wall just in case. I mean, this is already very troubling. There's a lot of Lings up here, yes. But it's just going to be the amount of damage he takes from this. He cancels the shade. He knows he can get a couple more drone kills here, perhaps. And turn and fight again. The Queens are going to be the main thing to kind of push this back, as we'll see Adept shading forwards again. 10 more Lings being made. All the while, he just sits behind in the work count. Can't really do anything else. Cancels the shade again. He's going to work his way through the Queens, but he won't get a kill or anything. He picks off that Zergling here, which was out on the map for whatever reason. There's 2 more Adepts joining in. It's just going to be continuous pressure out of Stats, just to keep Dark in this tough spot where, I mean, he doesn't even have Ling speed yet, you know? So he's still just going to be on slow Lings for so long. The kiting is going to be very good from Stats, and this is just really, really tough position for Dark to play from. I mean, when you go for an early pull like this and you do absolutely no damage, apart from delaying the hatchery, or the Nexus I should say, it's always going to go pretty bad for you. He does catch us around here. That's actually pretty huge. He'll get rid of 2 of these Adepts, and maybe his Stats is going a little bit too far forwards too early. As he'll shade out, I mean, 2 more Adepts just join up for him here, so he's back to 5. He did pick off an extra drone there as well. And you're going to see these Adepts just moving forwards again. Ling's going to pull back and just going to look to see what's up. This Queen is going to be working its way through the Adepts as well. Adepts going to back away towards the center once again here. And yeah, just Adepts backing away towards the center of the map. 2 more Adepts moving forwards. The Lair's going to be finishing up very soon. See the Resonating Glaives is on the way up as well. Just going to see a Pound coming into the side of this main base. So many units. I mean, what does Dark do? I mean, he's got Roaches on the way up, so I mean, he's starting to get an answer to these Adepts, but man, there's just still so many of them, right? And still it's just going to be super frustrating to try and fight against these. The Adepts will shade forwards. They'll see those units. They probably won't commit to that. One of the things Stats is doing as well right now, of course, is he's delaying the 3rd base from coming up, which is why we've seen Dark investing into more gas than you might usually see on 2 bases, and hence going into the lair now, the Roach speed. And we'll see what he wants to do if they're starting Burrow as well. I mean, he starts +1. It doesn't look as though he just wants to commit on 2 bases and do for an attack and try and end the game. It looks as though he does want to try and tech out of this. It's just he couldn't take the 3rd base until just a few moments ago, as we have the drone getting ready to pop that hatchery down. And the Adepts at the front, picking off a creep tumor here to begin, and then moving forwards, we're going to see him getting rid of one of the Roaches, and the second Roach taking a lot of damage as well. As the Adepts just going to cancel that shade now, and Roaches from Dark will turn around once again to keep on trading. Steps coming forwards here, going to be shading on through. We're going to see a Queen just going to be transfusing one of these Roaches right away. And again, the Adepts just moving back, Now actually going to be shading up in towards the main base. So the depths moving forward, we're going to be seeing one of these roaches going down instantly. Lings will continue to be picked away at as well. As you see these depths continue to move over to the right-hand side. And again, shading back over to the left. There's a few more roaches as Queen comes in once again. And just pushing back these few depths. Continuous stuff here, pretty much starting and never ending. So just been all the time. I mean, it's been one of those games where we haven't really looked around the map, because we have just been seeing stats continuing to apply pressure at the front. He has got Glaives finished now. He has got that Robo, which has just had a Warp Prism up. And he is going up to like 6-ish gateways, so he's got a lot of pressure available to him in the very near future. There's a lot of roaches coming over, and I mean, they do have roach speed as well, so they're going to get over here pretty quickly as the Zealot gets saved. Nice little pickup by stats there just to save one extra unit. Every unit you can save, the better. And these few roaches just going to be coming in and actually catching a few deaths, which also gets saved. Stats doesn't lose anything here. Wow, that's really nice as he gets ready to take a third base. And again, he has lots of gateways, but I guess he's just going to take a lot of gateways while taking a third. Or maybe he builds a third and then he doesn't use it straight away, and he will attack and, you know, maybe use it a little bit later if possible. Alright, so these few from stats going to be coming in. We're going to be seeing this Warp Prism is just moving past this factory as well. We're going to see these few depths. It's going to drop down once more. A few more depths dropping down. Warp Prism backs away once again. Again, just a few more units from stats gathering up together. I mean, you look at this all together. I mean, there's a couple more sentries, there's a few more depths. And Stats' army is getting very, very powerful. And it's a very aggressive army too, now going up to 8 gates. Does he attack sometime soon? I feel as though if he doesn't, he might be in trouble, because Dog's got a Spire coming up to the top right side of the map. And if he doesn't do anything anytime soon, Stats, these mutas could definitely be a way for Dog to get back into this game. A game which he's really been struggling in, but a game he could definitely do a lot in as well. So if this Spire comes up, which it will, I mean, Stats is so far away, he can't really just counter-attack now. Like, I mean, he's going to try to. You know what, 11 meters might just come in and fight this army. Like, you know, if he gets rid of a couple of the sentries and fights with the roaches as well, he could just clean out this entire army. This is concerning. Obviously, if Stats warps in a few more Stalkers, that would be ideal, but he doesn't have Blinks, so he's more likely to just warp in more Adepts. And there we go, more Adepts warping in, because he has Glaives for the Adepts, right? You know, that's what he's sort of thinking. He's like, well, okay, I'll just keep mastering Adepts and can have a pretty good time. Let's see, 2 more sentries warping in, so that's a little bit more anti-air, something at least. Warp Prism is going to be found, as now here we go, the Muse will fly and immediately Stats sees it. And well, Stats is completely out of position. Corrosive Bowels are going to come down. His units have to commit on forwards. And coming in from the back already, 2 sentries are falling here. There's just not enough anti-air, surely. This is extremely apparent, as we're going to see the Mutas targeting down. Actually, the Immortal there. Feels as though maybe it would have been a bit better for them to try and trade against the sentries and Stalkers right from the get-go. Again, get rid of that anti-air, and all of a sudden, you're in a pretty good spot. Drones will pull in as well, as Dark feels as though he's a little bit struggling to kind of clean this up. And again, the Muta count is his friend, though, and he's going to start working his way through some more sentries. The Stalkers will go down. Stats is going to lose his entire army, and now there's going to be... Well, I guess he lost a lot of Mutas here as well, right? He lost 5. But it doesn't really matter. Stats loses his entire army. The Muta play is good, and from a huge lead, Stats is actually going to lose. And that's going to be Dark taking game number 3, and he's going to win this series 2 games